Yo, I've been looking for a video that talks about it. I just saw. Anyways, I don't know this guy. I've seen his face before, but I do not know this guy. His name is Ango. I guess.
This photo of Mick Foley and The Undertaker at Ric Flair's last match is now starting to make sense. If you guys didn't watch Ric Flair's last match live on Fight TV, well, then you may have missed Undertaker being seated ringside next to Bret Hart, next to Mick Foley, and of course, there was that iconic moment between The Undertaker sharing positive words with Ric Flair. 73 years old, wrestling. Guys, it was the most chaotic, very tough to watch thing ever, but you can't deny how much Ric Flair loves this business, and he has officially called it a career. Now, with that being said, Brian Alvarez actually tweeted out basically something about a WWE production team there. And based on what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing on the internet, it actually appears that WWE could very well be filming content for WWE on Peacock, which actually makes sense because it was said that Undertaker was backstage. And then, of course, tons of people had shown up and were there as well. Now, keep in mind, Charlotte Flair was not on the actual event. Maybe she was backstage, maybe she wasn't, but she wasn't at the actual event. She didn't get involved in the match. Undertaker didn't get involved in the match. Triple H was not seen on TV, but there is expected to have some sort of WWE involvement with Ric Flair's last match. And I think a lot of that is just for the purpose of content and, of course, documentaries and stuff like that. And then, of course, because of Conrad Thompson being a very smart guy, I think we'll see something come from this, and I think it's really cool. You know, I wasn't a big fan of Ric Flair's last match. I wasn't a fan of the idea of them doing it, but ultimately he chose to do it. It's over with, and the doctors say he is okay. Becky Lynch could very well be injured. This is actually a really interesting story to me because WWE is going to be put in a very big, weird situation if this is serious. Now, this image that you see right here is Becky Lynch obviously having some trouble with her arm. The medical personnel were taking a look at her after the match. And guys, obviously WWE has major plans right now. Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Dakota Kai, and of course Bayley. Triple H is set to make a big splash on WWE Raw.
Oh yeah,
We're going to learn more about their plans for this women's division. I expect that WWE is probably going to make some big changes if, in fact, Becky Lynch is hurt. But I think this is really just building towards a major match for Clash at the Castle. They are talking on the internet about how important it is for WWE to make a big splash in the UK. Obviously, this is the first massive event in the UK for a very, very long time. Being a stadium event, being that this will be Triple H's second pay-per-view, I fully expect a 3-on-3 match for this pay-per-view. Now, who would be the tag team partner for Bianca and Becky? I think Asuka makes the most sense. But if Becky Lynch is hurt, you might need to change course. Triple H, you got to bring back Sasha Banks and Naomi. It makes all the sense in the world. But I'm really actually excited about this. WWE's women's division has not been exciting on WWE Raw, hence the reason why we're getting so many redundant matches. If Becky Lynch and Bianca Belair are teaming up with Asuka to take on this new faction, I can't wait to see.
I didn't know this video was that old. Let's switch it up. I've been seeing this video.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at again with another video. So I'm going to check out why John Cena will lose at WWE WrestleMania 41. Now, this is a very interesting theory from WrestleMania. I know a lot of people are making the assumption that John Cena's turned heel for the first time in over 15, 20 years. It only makes sense for him to win at WrestleMania since he's now a bad guy, right? Well, there's still that possibility that it doesn't happen. We're going to see what WrestleMania think may be the situation of why he may not actually win at this year's WrestleMania. Let's get into it. Appreciate all love, support. Let's go. Let's do the damn thing.
WrestleMania 41 is just around the corner. Without a doubt, the biggest match on the show is the highly anticipated Cody Rhodes versus John Cena match for the WWE title.
Yep.
The match is set to headline night 2 of the show, and all eyes are on the match, especially after Cena's shocking heel turn at 2025 Elimination Chamber. But with now fans split on whether or not Cena will walk out of WrestleMania 41 as WWE Champion, there's a lot of evidence to suggest that Cena will ultimately fail on the grand stage, and WrestleMania 41 will close out with the American Nightmare standing tall. But why? Here's why John Cena will lose at WrestleMania 41.
All right, this is a very interesting prediction here.
Wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. The heel turn. A lot of the discourse surrounding the heel turn has focused on whether or not the turn was a long-term plan. Some reports indicated that the plan initially was for Cena to turn heel at WrestleMania 41, yet WWE decided to pivot and go with the turn at Elimination Chamber. Whatever the case, the build to Rhodes vs Cena has felt extremely flat, and this is mainly due to Cena's poor justification for turning heel. Cena is claiming that the fans have always hated him and that this was his revenge, but in reality, it's been a long time since Cena was heavily booed by the audience. In actuality, the past few years have seen pro-Cena crowds, with all demographics heavily cheering for the former WWE champion. Was this just lazy writing? Were WWE struggling to find a justifiable reason for Cena's heel turn?
That's an interesting
Cena would
point.
also claim that he's going to ruin wrestling by winning the WWE title at WrestleMania 41, and the idea of this on paper sounds groundbreaking, but it does paint the idea that Cena won't win at WrestleMania. A wrestler with the goal of ruining the business, closing out WrestleMania as champion, would be an interesting move for WWE to make, especially having that chosen wrestler defeat the current face of the company.
Yeah.
But another key factor in all of this is The Rock. The
Yes.
Rock was heavily involved in the Cena turn, yet he has yet to appear on TV since.
And that is still the issue. Because if you really want to look at it, John Cena just could have turned heel without The Rock. The Rock didn't need to be there. We didn't need this story of, will you sell your soul to me, Cody? None of that really made sense if it was just going to be John Cena selling his soul. But we still hadn't really got no indication of how does this benefit John Cena by aligning himself with The Rock, because The Rock hasn't been there. Now, we still have 2 more weeks left. Maybe The Rock shows up, but we still don't really know what was the point of having The Rock involved in this if he's not even really mentioned. John could have just turned heel on his own, because everything he said on why he's turned heel has been on his own volition, on his own accord. Has nothing to do with The Rock.
Since the Chamber, The Rock was also completely retconned from the initial turn, and it was only until Raw from London that he was even mentioned. It's a little confusing as a viewer, and it could certainly be argued that The Rock wasn't even needed for the heel turn to go down.
Yes.
Now, there is still time for The Rock to appear on screen, and it will be interesting to see what he could possibly add to the story arc. Now, if the final boss does appear, he needs to address the relationship between him and Cena. What does selling your soul actually mean?
Yes.
How far in advance were he and Cena in cahoots? These questions and their answers will help round out the entire storyline, and in turn make the entire arc complete as we roll into WrestleMania. But the Raw from London show managed to build a feud in a much more impactful manner, with Cena and Rhodes having a back and forth mentioning taboo topics, including the downfall of WWE's popularity in the 2000s, Vince McMahon, and even Tony Khan.
Yeah.
But even though Rhodes stood tall during the exchange, based on some of the comments that Cena was making, it would be somewhat backwards booking for Rhodes to now lose the matchup. The acclaimed promo segment from London acted as the prior face of the company versus the current face of WWE, and it was very much presented.
And that could have even been a better story. I mean, they've kind of weaved it in, is mainly basically to take away from the fans, but that can even be a greater story to tell, that John honestly is just jealous that the guy that was chauffeuring him around is now the guy. He is getting the adulation that he once wanted to get, even though technically John Cena's been getting love these past few years. He just can't win a match. So they could have went that route too. Like, and they've been kind of alluding to it, that he's really just low-key kind of jealous of Cody. But, you know, I was hoping that that would be a really big point. That's another reason why he despises him. And we kind of heard a part of that in this last promo battle that they had. He despises the fact that someone like him is what they love now. So now it's mediocre. I love that.
As a new era within the segment itself, with Rhodes addressing how the crowd picked him as a face of WWE, whereas Cena was simply awarded the prestigious title by WWE management in 2005. Some fans have theorized that the WWE will take the Rock versus Cena approach from WrestleMania 28, by having the prior face of the company win before the present face wins the rematch. Whilst this is a possible approach, Cena isn't wrestling into 2026.
Yeah.
So unless the rematch goes down at SummerSlam or another significant event, then this seems to be off the table.
Yeah.
Rhodes versus Cena at WrestleMania will be a one-time deal.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be on one. I mean, he has so many opponents that he could fight. I think it's gonna be a one and done, only because his schedule. He's not gonna be featured every fucking week. So if he was to win and win the championship, there's other people that it would be interesting to see to face. So I don't know. I can see it being a one and done situation, and maybe he loses the title to maybe CM Punk, and then maybe Cody has to face CM Punk later down the line. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here, but I don't see them setting up another match. I would be surprised if they did, but it seems like this is going to be a one and done situation.
The major giveaway. A SmackDown from London's O2 Arena saw Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton embark in an incredibly wholesome segment. Anytime the former Legacy stablemates share the screen, there's palpable chemistry, and their real-life friendship is always apparent.
Yeah.
In the segment, Orton would put Rhodes over as the face of WWE before shifting gears and saying that he was coming for the WWE title following WrestleMania 41. This segment would have worked extremely well. That's if it didn't take place weeks before WrestleMania. WWE are already moving forward with the idea of Cena losing at WrestleMania, and they're already planting the seeds for the rest of 2025. This segment would then be taken to the next level when the dastardly Drew McIntyre would interrupt.
Because you have stories there. You can go. People are waiting for this Randy and Cody situation. You can also go Drew and Cody, because I think that needs to happen. Drew has a victory over Cody. He's one of the handful people that has a victory over Cody, and I think he deserves a WWE title opportunity. They can tell a good story there. So that's the thing. They still have some other matches they could put on outside if Cody does win. They have other matches and feuds that they can still put on with Cody. So
surprisingly, McIntyre would also state that he's coming for the WWE title, and it appears that the WWE's two big programs set for the rest of 2025 are now Orton vs. Rhodes and McIntyre vs. Rhodes. The former of the two were once rumored to be the direction WWE were going for WrestleMania 41, but obviously that never occurred. Whilst the segment itself was expertly delivered, the criticism fans are offering the segment has a ton of validity. WWE basically told the audience that Cena wasn't winning at WrestleMania, as it would make zero sense to build two new programs if they weren't going to deliver them following Mania. Additionally, the segment highlighted the main issue with the WrestleMania build. Cena needs to be present on television whenever Rhodes is on screen. Rhodes is a marvel of a pro wrestler, and in the sense, he's been established as this guy that can build WrestleMania events by himself, but the reality is, he shouldn't have to. These are the most important shows of 2025, and Cena needed to be on as many as possible.
yeah.
The inevitable. And there's no way that arguably WWE's biggest babyface of all time retires as a heel, right?
Yeah.
Whilst it's going to take solid writing and compelling delivery, a babyface turn does seem like a certainty before 2025.
It's definitely happening, bro.
Cena riding off into the sunset as a heel and being booed doesn't seem appropriate.
It's not going to
How
happen.
exactly do WWE handle this? Does Cena realize the error of his ways and realize that the fans have always loved him, and the fans that previously hated him come to love him thanks to his work ethic? This could be a solid way to take the story. The likely direction is that the WWE and Cena explained that he was poisoned by The Rock, and the final boss got in his head.
Yeah.
Once babyfaces such as Rhodes and Orton made Cena realize the error of his ways, Cena knew that it was all The Rock's fault, and Cena turning on The Rock would receive a thunderous pop.
Yeah. If he loses, that would be the way to do it. Say he loses. Say The Rock tries everything. He's not able to. John Cena has the moment. He can do it. He has the moment in his hand. The Rock's like, do it. But he doesn't. He doesn't do it. He doesn't attack Cody because he knows it's not right. He knows it doesn't make sense. The Rock gets pissed. He finally hits the rock bottom. I mean, not the rock bottom. The attitude adjustment on The Rock. Obviously, maybe Cody capitalizes, hits the crossroads a couple of times. 1, 2, 3. That would be some people will be like, well, this was a waste of a turn. I think it, in a sense, yes and no, because the turn needed to happen. only to build this matchup because a babyface John Cena versus a babyface Cody, it's not going to work. You needed the turn to happen to kind of switch things up. The only thing was The Rock kind of convoluted things, so that would be his only way to get back on the right path. Be like, I was corrupted by The Rock. And then you can have The Rock say, fuck it, and just try to take everything over for himself, whatever you want to do, if that's the route they go. But he's most likely not going to be a heel the entire retirement run. It's
All right. I think we've seen enough. I think John Cena gonna win. Might turn face, but he winning. If he doesn't win, I'm gonna just have to skip every Cody match going forward. I don't care if I think the guy gonna win, the guy gonna lose. I'm just not gonna watch. As soon as he's on screen, I'm out of here. I'll be back once he's back off the screen. Or if he's the final match, that's great. End of the show.